So what I want to do is I'll start you right here with his main guitar that he's using this tour. This guitar is a 1967 SG. He thought it was a little older, but we dated it off the serial number.
Gibson serial numbers in the 1960s were a mess, and there's no real logic behind them. Guitars would be assigned random numbers, and when they ran out of numbers, they would start over again. So this results in certain numbers being repeated in multiple years. So we have to look at other features of the guitar in order to correctly date them. So right away, the main problem here is that a 1967 SG has the Batwing pickguard. And this is confirmed by multiple vintage guitar dealers, and you can look this up yourself.
With my pick of the day is this fantastic 1967 Gibson SG Standard.
The transition to the Batwing pickguard happened somewhere between 1966 and 1967. So by 1967, all SGs were the Batwing type. And you might ask, couldn't it have been fitted with a small pickguard? But there's a big problem with that. Under the Batwing pickguard, most SG standards back then looked like this. So in order to fit a small pickguard on a guitar like this, it would be necessary to fill all these holes. So this alone should already raise a red flag that this might not actually be a 1967. But of course, all of this is just speculation, and it would be very nice if we could just look up the serial number ourselves. And actually, we can. This is the music clip for Rock the Blues Away. Right here, this is the serial number. And it starts with 113 or 115. Either way, this is all we need. And this is the Reverb chart for Gibson serial numbers in the 1960s. Just looking at it gives me a massive headache, but check this out. 113, it fits right into this serial number range. And this is where Trace Foster got the 1967 from. Look right beside it, we have 1963 as well. So basically, this serial range was used in 1963 and 1967. So starting with the headstock, we can see that Angus's guitar has the larger headstock, which was used on the early 60s SGs, starting from 61 all the way to 1966. And please note the position of the crown inlay, which is very high. And if you compare with a late 60s headstock, you will see that the headstock itself is a lot smaller, and the crown inlay is lower, almost aligned with the two middle string posts. So next up, we have the neck joint. If you look closely, you'll see that the neck joint on Angus's guitar is on the 22nd fret, and there is a noticeable step right there. As you can see here, it has the step on the 22nd fret. Instead, in 1966, Gibson started making SGs with the longer neck joint, which joins the body on the 19th fret. And a 1967 SG would have this longer neck joint. Another detail is that the pickguard has 6 screws, which is a characteristic of SGs from 1963 to 1966. Originally, this pickguard only had 5 screws, but in 1963 they added the extra screw under the bridge pickup. If you watch footage from the Donington concert, you'll see that this guitar had a Les Paul truss rod cover. And the last year that Gibson used Les Paul truss rod covers on these guitars was in 1963. This is not a concrete proof, since the truss rod cover could have been replaced. But all the circumstantial evidence seems to point out that that is the original truss rod cover, and it matches with the 1963 serial number and all of the other features. So it's very likely that that one is the actual original truss rod cover as well. So again, looking back to all the features we were looking at, the larger headstock, the position of the crown inlay, the 22nd fret neck joint, and the small pickguard with 6 screws, everything is consistent with 1963. So that's probably the actual year of Angus's black guitar. Angus's guitar is from 1963. And with all this, I present to you what I believe Angus's guitar looked like when it was brand new. So this is a 1963 Gibson SG Standard, or if you prefer, a 1963 Gibson Les Paul Standard. And it has all the matching features: the larger headstock, the position of the crown inlay, the 22nd fret neck joint, and the small pickguard with 6 screws. So everything matches down to the serial number range. And here is another example. This is another 1963, and this one was modded with a stop bar tailpiece, and it's the spitting image of Angus's own guitar. All it needs is to be painted black, and it will be a perfect replica. So obviously, a disclaimer, I'm not discrediting Trace Foster at all, because it is very confusing. And I know it's probably not that important, but to gearheads like myself, I think it's really cool to be able to date these guitars. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and share with your friends that still think Angus's guitar is an 1867. So see you next time.